Number 2A, presentation followed by discussion and possible direction to staff on any and all matters regarding 2019-2020 mid-year economic development activity update by Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation. Julie Ango, President and CEO of Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mayor, members of council. It's an honor to be here. I really appreciate the accommodation of allowing me to call in. Can all of you hear me okay? I hope.
Yes, we can hear you. Well, yeah.
Yes. Okay, great. I am going to forego the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint was our mid-year, and we had a lot of things that were supposed to happen in March and in April that are in that report. And of course, they're not happening due to the virus and the disruption that's occurred. So instead of going through a PowerPoint presentation, I would like to bring you up to speed on everything that we are working on. We are in full business retention mode right now. We're having weekly calls with all of our major employers to see how they're doing. We also created, with the aid of staff members from each community, Jenny Torres was the San Luis representative. We've created a portal of information, and I want to thank you all for sharing the press release today about the portal. This is very important for the community and your employers, whether they're retail, no matter what they are. If they're a sole proprietor, they can qualify for these programs that have been made eligible with the passing of this latest bill by the President and Congress. So there are programs that allow businesses to apply for loans that will go towards rent, mortgage payments, employee salaries, employee benefits, and it is a $10 million maximum. But so depending on the size of the company, they can actually apply. And if they, for 8 weeks, use those funds for those things, it's a forgivable loan. And they also, if you are a sole proprietor or an independent contractor or a nonprofit with fewer than 500 employees and you were harmed, say you had to cancel an event or you had extra inventory that now is wasted because it was a perishable good, you can apply for reimbursement of that inventory or whatever the cause is, if it happened between February 15th, 2020 or in June 30th of 2020. And the good news too is unemployment. If employees do have to go on unemployment, they've added an extra $600 to that. And so they would be collecting the $240 that's the normal, but also then an extra $600 on top of that. And that is, right now it's for 8 weeks, but it could extend depending on how long the crisis continues. So what's happening here at the local level is we have 3, possibly 4 manufacturers who are going to shift production and start making some of the equipment that's needed here. And we've also been working with one of the sterilizing companies to see if they won't sterilize the safety equipment so it can be reused, so it doesn't have to be disposed of. So we will be giving an update through the press and through email and also through the website as these things progress. But Piana Nonwovens is an Italian company, and as you know, Italy has been hit very, very hard from this, and so all production stopped in Europe. And so they are shifting to making bedding, some of the disposable bedding and for hospitals and clinics. So that production, once they get the orders, they're working directly with the hospital. Once they get the orders in, they're going to start production on that. And hopefully they will be able to rehire the 15 people that they've had to lay off. And then we have Jordan Manufacturing, who does pillows and cushions for lawn chairs and stuff like that. They are going to be making the masks. And so they are working directly with the hospital and the municipalities. If you're first responders, need masks. We need to know what your order will look like. And Jordan actually has a work order right now for 16 new people to go to work for them so that they can ramp up this production. And then we have Martech Medical, who does device manufacturing. We've asked them if they could shift over to making the test kits, and they are trying to get everything in order to do that. So we might be having some test kits made at the local level. So this is what we're finding as this progresses. And we, as I said, rolled out this brand new portal of information for everyone to have direct access to these programs that the President and Congress did put into place. We've also been in contact with all the projects that are open, and none of them have died. They are in a holding pattern, and they are just waiting to see how this all plays out. So we still have active projects. We actually have 2 projects that are still, we were just approached recently for 2 new projects. So companies are still looking, even though we're in this turmoil, which is good news. But as far as business retention, we do know that we've had Shaw. We just got word, and this isn't really for public it's not hit the press yet. So I'm not going to tell you the numbers or anything, and I really hope it doesn't go into the press, because I don't want employees finding out through this.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine, Julie.
Okay. And then we have some of our hospitality and retail numbers in as well. So we're working very closely with Sinema's office and McSally's office, and we had a conference call with Senator Sinema today. They are getting ready for the stimulus bill number 4, and they said there will probably be a stimulus bill 5 and a stimulus bill 6. What they're asking for is our communities to tell them, or let us know, let me know, and I can let Sinema's office know where the gaps are, where your community is suffering, where this stimulus is not reaching people, and we're seeing devastation in that respect. So we need to hear from you. If you have any questions about the stimulus, and if your employers and your business owners are having trouble understanding it, we're here. We're here to help. We have Spanish-speaking people on standby to help navigate this as well. And so that is where our primary focus is right now, is making sure that people are staying tethered to the company that they work for through these programs, and that if they aren't able to remain tethered, that they are getting the new unemployment benefits. And then there will be a stimulus check for everybody who qualifies, and that should be getting out. It is $1,200 for individuals, $24 for married couples, and $500 per child. And we're trying to come up with some creative programs that when people get those stimuluses, they try and put that money back in their local community, and that it is a way to kind of boost any revenues that our businesses have suffered here recently. So if you can identify which companies would benefit from that, or which companies are suffering right now, that would be really helpful. We're also tracking any closures and any temporary closures, so that we can input this into our in-plan model and determine what that multiplier effect is going to be for our public sector and for the supply chain. So we will be needing as much information as Jenny and her team can get to us, so that we can keep you apprised of all of the information. I sent out a report today that is our 5-year statistical report, and I sent it to Administrator Tadeo and also Mayor Sanchez, and I can share it with everybody, or Tadeo can share it with everybody on council. It's not a proprietary report, but it's definitely going to be a baseline. We're going to be using these figures to see how quickly we recover from this and how soon we can get back to what our new normal was, because we were on a trajectory of the past 5 years we were growing at a very healthy pace. Our incomes were growing, our poverty level was shrinking, the number of people on access was shrinking, our wages were increasing, and the jobs, the number of people working was increasing. So we want to make sure we can get back to that. So, and it's by community, so you can look directly at San Luis in this report. And hopefully this will be a benchmark for us, and we'll use it to determine where we're at as a result of the virus. So with that, I would entertain any questions, or if you probably do have the PowerPoint in your package. If there's anything in that PowerPoint you want to cover, I will. I will be happy to answer questions.
Okay, Julie, thank you. This is Mayor Sanchez. First and foremost, I would like to thank you because retention should be the emphasis right now. We're going through a very severe crisis, and I just want to say that since October of last year, we've been actually having financial difficulties because the number of crossings have decreased dramatically, and this crisis, this pandemic, is not helping whatsoever. It only made it worse. Unfortunately, the border towns like San Luis, Nogales, and Douglas were all hurting because we depend so much on our pedestrian traffic and our vehicular traffic that crosses every day. So for us, the stimuli, my biggest concern is that we're not as big as a lot of metropolitan areas in Arizona. We're just not that big. And unfortunately, but the thing is, we are so close. We are the border towns. And the number of people that cross, that use our borders, over 8 million individuals. So 8 million individuals actually cross over, use our streets, use our facilities. And the thing is, but we're seeing that number going down. So Julie, if at all possible, and I know staff will give you the report, because it's good to hear that the federal government has all these 1, 2, 3, 4 stimuli. But the thing is, we want to make sure that small communities like the city of San Luis, city of Somerton, actually get to see that money. And I know there was an issue regarding the allocation, either allocating directly to the state or allocating directly to the city. I know when I spoke to Congressman Grijalva a couple of days ago, they were really trying to allocate directly to the cities, but I guess most of the stimuli is going to go directly to the state, and I guess they're going to go through grants. So Julie, it's very imperative that we're going to give you our information. Make sure that you advocate not only for the city of Yuma County, but also for the smaller communities. One more thing, thank you for letting us know that local businesses are actually going to be converting and actually producing some of the PPEs and some of the hospital equipment required. The thing is, that is great news, because we've been struggling. We've been very fortunate that the state actually sent us what we wanted in regards to N95 masks and the protective equipment required, but that's not going to last 6 months. That's probably going to give us about a month. And the thing is, and if we can, for example, those N95 masks, you definitely you can tell that company in behalf of the city, be expecting a large purchase from the city of San Luis. We need those N95 masks, but we also need those N95 masks for our hospital. It's very important.
Right.
That are very, very important. Okay, because without the providers, without the hospital staff, we wouldn't make it. And the thing is, so please, Julie, commend the businesses, and I can tell you right now, the city of San Luis will gladly purchase large quantities from them if available. Okay, Julie?
Okay. Mayor, the N95 mask isn't what they are able to make at this time. It is the other masks. And so what we were hoping is that they will use these other masks and keep the N95s for the ones who are on the front line, the ones who are triaging. But we're also hoping that we can get Centurion, which is now Medline, to sterilize so that we can start reusing some of this.
Yeah, Julie, but my biggest concern are my firefighters. They're constantly being transferred. And the thing is, they're constantly going to be exposed to the coronavirus. And,
Right.
we only have a certain number of first responders. So that's the emphasis I said in the state, that's the emphasis I said in the county. And the thing is, our fire are going to be exposed to positive people
Yes.
constantly. And so I want to make sure they have the best protection available. I understand, but I count my fire and also police as part of that essential group.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely correct. And if we learned anything, what happened in New York or what was reported today in New York is what we have to be prepared for, because their first responders are infected at a level that is staggering. So we have to make sure we don't allow that to happen here.
Exactly. And the other comment regarding economic development, I don't know if you noticed, but we probably have the longest line in the DES that we've seen in years.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of people employed. What I heard, the numbers I heard, we're looking at 11,000 individuals that are going to need those benefits. And so they're expecting bigger crowds. So if anything, Julie, if you can help us, because the state needs to know this, because there's not adequate staff to take care of the number of individuals who are applying for these benefits.
Right.
What I'm seeing is a possible risk of exposure because one,
Yes.
there's way too many in line and they're not 6 feet apart. And so
Right.
We only have 3 officers on duty, maybe 4 sometimes, and I cannot have an officer there, 2 officers there. So we really need help from the state. The DES really needs help from the state in regards to this issue. And we can't wait 2 weeks because the lines are only going to get longer.
Exactly. And that was pointed out today we have a daily conference call to talk about these things. And it was pointed out that when they get inside, they have to stay 6 feet apart. But when they're in line outside, they are shoulder to shoulder. And so there is a huge concern there. One of the things that we're doing, San Luis is the only community in Arizona that has a walk-in office. Everyone else, it has to be done online. And so we have limited use of the new center that is the co-center for everybody. So Patrick Getz from Arizona at Work is going to open 3 desks in the center to alleviate some of these applicants from one, to have 2 locations, I guess I'm trying to say, is that have 2 locations now to take these unemployment claims so that it will alleviate some of that, because they do need to start policing that 6 feet outside as well as inside.
Okay, no, that's
the
good
building
too.
the building that's on 95, the one that we just had the ground ribbon cutting for. Yes. They're going to open up 3 desks there for this.
Oh, very good, very good. No, I think it's the same thing with the census, for example. People assume that everyone has a computer, that everyone has access to the internet. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. Maybe the rest of the state is there yet, but there's a high percentage of people who don't have a computer, who don't have internet access. And the thing is, it's one of those situations where we cannot avoid or we cannot not offer those benefits to those people just because they don't have a computer or just because they cannot afford internet for them not to be able to apply. And that's understandable. So no, thank you, Julie.
And this is the concern for these programs too, because these programs you can go to the SBA office in Yuma, but I don't know if there's going to be anyone in San Luis that will be able to help with the SBA applications. So if you don't have a computer, it's going to be really hard to apply for these forgivable loans and things like that to keep your business going. So if you have any way to communicate with the people in the community via a newsletter or something like that, if they would reach out to SBA, Randy Nelson at the Arizona Western College Small Business Administration, he has Spanish-speaking people that can help them navigate that as well, so that they aren't missing out on these things because of that barrier that you just described. And we want them missing out on this.
Yeah, and thank you, Julie. It's very important because we really have to, especially those small businesses that actually have 4 or 5 employees, like construction, for example.
Right.
They're the ones that need to apply. I think the fear
And they
of
qualify.
applying, yeah, and they qualify. But I think what I'm sensing when I hear some of these businesses, like, no, I'm not going to be qualified. I'm going to have to go through the bank. I mean, it's almost like the idea. We want to make sure that they understand this is relief. We're not going to. It's different. And the thing is, no, it's very important, Julie, that we give the right message and the right information out there. Because a lot of these businesses are going to close. They're going to close, and
Right.
they're the reason why we're booming. We were growing so fast, also. So, no, Julie. So whatever that can be done, I'd really appreciate the help.
Well, and we will make certain. We do have a kind of a 1-page in Spanish that if that could be part of what you disseminate, I will get an email to Jenny right away, or to Tadeo, whoever you prefer. And we really do need, it's just, they will qualify. Even if they don't think they will, I promise they will qualify, because they have removed all of the obstacles that used to be in play for these small business loans. This is a lifeline. That is why this whole program was put together. And so we want to help them get access to these funds. Now, right now, there's 2 banks in Yuma County that are qualified to start lending immediately, and that's Wells Fargo and National Bank. Do you have either of those branches in San Luis?
No, we don't.
You have First Bank Yuma. I talked to First Bank Yuma, and they are not what they call a qualified lender. So they're going through the process of becoming a qualified SBA lender, because of their they also have a presence in Nogales. And so hopefully they will be a qualified lender soon, so that people can go in. Well, First Bank Yuma just put out a new regulation that you can't go in now. You have to do everything through the drive-through. But if they have a relationship already with First Bank Yuma, then it will be a lot faster for them, because First Bank Yuma would have all their financial information and stuff like that. So anyway, we really need to make sure they're aware of these programs and that they understand they do qualify.
Okay, good. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. Anyone else from council has any questions or concerns? I'm gonna go ahead and go with each individual council member. Jose Ponce, any comments or concerns?
No, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Torres, any comments or concerns?
No comment, Mayor.
Thank you. Africa Carrasco, are you, Councilwoman, are you having any comments or concerns?
No, sir.
Thank you. Mario Buchanan, any comments or concerns or questions?
No, Mayor. Thank you. And thank you, Julie.
Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Matias, any comments, concerns, or questions?
No, Mayor. Thank you. Good information.
Thank you so much. Vice Mayor, any comments or concerns?
No, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Julie, I would like to thank you so much for the information you gave us. It was very informative. And it's just amazing how Yuma County has united to try to do our best and work together. And that just tells you that Yuma County, when the crisis, we're in crisis, that's when the best of Yuma County shows up. And thank you, Julie, and please thank the senators for their help, their assistance, and I really appreciate the hard work you guys are doing. Thank you.
Our pleasure, Mayor. Thank you so much, everyone, and stay well. Be well.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and go item number 2B, discussion and possible direction to staff on all matters regarding the proposal of a contract between the City of San Luis and Diva Music LLC for the musical performance for the 4th of July celebration event. Lisandro Galaviz, is he online or there?
He's on your screen.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Oh, there we go, Louis.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, good evening. Today I bring this proposal. I know it's kind of trying to see what the future holds, but we're trying to prepare and hopefully this will come to fruition. But tonight I bring you this proposal of working with Diva Music LLC. They have a band, El Gran Silencio, that they're proposing, well, we're proposing we'd like to bring for our 4th of July this year. And I would open it up to Mayor and Council for any questions over this matter.
This is Mayor Sanchez. For the price that you're quoting, it's an excellent, actually, for the group that you mentioned. I think it's an excellent price, but of course, with all these uncertainty that's going on, and we're hoping for that day or that day that coming soon that they're going to tell us that they have a medication protocol or they figured this out, and we're all hoping for that day to happen quick and fast. And it's just one of those things where we're hoping. In this agreement, do we have a clause or a possible way, for example, because if we continue this way, we're not going to have a 4th of July celebration. But things can change. So, Louis, have you talked to them? Do they realize the situation we're in?
Mayor, I think the whole world is probably asking the same question with a lot of their events that are being held here in the state. One of the things that we've been talking to them is they're still interested in coming and performing, but I think this would be something that we would have to talk to legal and administration, working with them. If you, as a council, mayor and council, have us move forward, that would be definitely something that we'd have to work into the contracts as this date comes, just making sure that we have some assurances that in any type of situation that might occur, we can address those without the city having a big liability.
Mayor and Council, I did notice even before the pandemic was really on our radar, because Louis gets prepared for the 4th of July so early. They already, unlike other bands he's had that required half payment beforehand, this band wants 100% if they show up. So it looks on the day. So it looks like we'll be able to work with this band with some sort of contingency plan.
Good. That's what I wanted to hear, and that's good. We have that contingency plan. I think we should proceed. I think we should. I have faith, and like our president said, I have a feeling. Quoting him, this is the second time I quote him. That we are going to go through this, and we are with everyone, with private industry, with everyone online, with everyone working on a solution, on a cure, on a treatment. I think we're going to show the rest of the world that the United States has so much potential, and we do. And I have faith. So let's. I have no problem proceeding with the 4th of July celebration, as long as they're willing to negotiate with us and work with us, just in case it does not occur. But that's my personal opinion. So I will now entertain questions and comments from each individual council member. Jose Ponce, what are your opinions?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a comment. You just mentioned a few minutes ago that the worst part of the coronavirus is not even. It's not even around the corner. So that's my concern. How can we make a deal? In case we make some cancellations, so we won't be losing money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good observation. The thing is, there's always a risk of losing money, but what I'm asking is make sure that we work with the band and have them understand also, because they are not going to want to play if this is still going on. So it's
Exactly.
it goes both ways. And so we can ping if they show up to play, and if they feel they need to feel safe also. So I mean, we can fight, we can go legal all you want, but they're not going to go. They're not going to come in an area where they don't feel safe. And so I think it goes both ways. I think they're willing to work with us, and we're willing to work with them. I think we actually should give them an honest opportunity, with the understanding. Of course, they're not. How can they demand money if they don't come and show up and feel safe themselves? So I agree with you, Councilman Ponce. I really do. But life must go on, and so we must have faith, and we have to work together. And it's just one of those things where we'll see. Time will tell us. Thank you, Councilman Ponce. Councilman Torres, any questions or concerns? Councilmember Torres?
I have it muted. No comment, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Africa Carrasco, any questions or concerns?
No, Mayor, I think you've already addressed yourself and Councilmember Ponce addressed my concern. The same, that if this situation continues, I'd hate for the city to lose. Is there like a down payment? Do they want the full amount?
They want a full amount when they show up.
When they show up?
Yes.
Yeah, they are not asking for any down payment, just at the time of before they present.
Yeah. Okay, now just if legal reviews all the contract and all that, because I'd hate to cancel 4th of July celebration, but given the circumstances, it's a tricky time of
Safety comes first.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Council Member. Thank you. Councilmember Buchanan, any comments or concerns or questions?
No, Mayor, as long as they're willing to work with us, like you mentioned, and everyone is, safety is first, and they're willing to work with the city, on those terms. I mean, I'm okay with that. We can keep going and negotiate, but as long as they're working with us.
Councilman Rosales, thank you, Councilor Buchanan. Councilman Rosales, any comments or concerns?
No, sir.
Thank you so much. Councilman Vice Mayor, any comments or concerns?
None, Mayor.
Thank you so much. If there's more comments or concerns at this point in time, I will now entertain a motion. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. There is no motion. This is a special meeting, so no.
That's
the direction is to proceed with negotiation.
Mayor, I just wanted to point out that, we are in contact with DIVA, and this is a fairly new situation for us. We've always prepared for different types of, incidents or challenges, but nothing quite like this. So we will work with them and as much as possible to hopefully have this event and work with legal to try to make sure that we're protected as much as possible, even looking at insurance type clauses and those types of things. Again, it's unpredictable, but we'll try to assure ourselves and secure that liability as much as possible. The other thing is we'd like to, we're going to request in the future, if we move forward, just have request that Diva Music be a sole provider, because they are the ones that are bringing them. So I just wanted to point that out.
When you mention sole provider, will they be bringing other groups, bands at the same time?
No, we are actually working with 2 other groups that are, when I say local, close by, for the opening acts. They'll be our closing act, but okay. that amount is less than the 5,000. And so we're working to try to get some other bands. That's our main headliner. This will be a little bit more than we've paid in the past, but they are a bigger name. Yes. So we're going to look at more local bands to fill in the other positions.
Very good, very good. No, thank you. thank you for the hard work you guys are doing. I know it's been a challenge to get a band like this of this caliber to come to the city of San Luis, but it is something that we do for our community, and with God's blessing and with His help, we could proceed and actually have that celebration on 4th of July. So thank you, Louis. Thank you, and thank your staff, please.
We will. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and go with items number, let's see here, item number 2C, discussion and possible direction to staff and all matters regarding contract with Lantis Productions and Company for a firework presentation during the 4th of July celebration. Mr. Louis Galaviz, please.
Again, Mayor and Council, we're in the same kind of situation. I spoke with Lantis this morning. And they're still have us scheduled for the 4th of July. They're also being very hopeful that this event will happen. And this is, we've had Lantis here for a very long time, providing the fireworks show for the 4th of July. But it's something that we wanted to bring again to council to have your blessing to move forward in working with them. Again, we spoke with them and we're on track, but again, it'd be working with legal and making sure we cover those liabilities if this doesn't happen. Because Lantis does request a 50% down deposit.
Okay, but you mentioned that this is Mayor Sanchez again, but you did mention that we've been contracting with them for many, many years. But you did mention that they're willing to work with us because they are aware of the situation here.
Yes, and so that's something that we were gonna. The owner wasn't in. I was speaking to one of the representatives, so we're gonna follow up with them, and I will have legal be a part of that, and maybe seeing what we can do with this deposit, and what if any other options we have in going into this contract with them if this event for some other reason needs to be moved, or looking at the option of one of the things that we proposed to them was if we gave the deposit that if it didn't happen they would credit us for the following year.
Oh, I like that idea.
Just that would be something that I would have to bring up to finance.
Yeah, no, let's negotiate that at least. Make sure that we definitely are set for next year, and we'll actually make it bigger and better. God willing.
This is Tadeo. We did that with our budget retreat down payment. Okay. So I don't foresee finance having a problem with us doing the same thing.
Very good. So make sure, Tadeo, that we talk to financing. Louis, talk to financing. Make sure and legal. It's very key. It's very important. You put in your 2 cents in there and make sure that we follow our guidelines. And yes, definitely, I like that possible negotiation to occur.
And Mayor, that's something that, and I forgot to mention, but in other items that we brought up, that we're looking at that possibility too. If it doesn't happen, to move it to the following year.
Very good. Thank you, Louis. Thank you for being proactive and actually thinking ahead of. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to each individual council member and see if they have comments or concerns. Councilmember Ponce, any comments or concerns or questions?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Torres, do you have any questions or concerns?
No comment.
Councilmember Mafiga Carrasco, any comments or questions or concerns?
No, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Buchanan, any comments or concerns or questions?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Matias Rosales, any comments or concerns?
None, sir.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, any questions or concerns?
None at this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And I really appreciate council and the hard work we all do. And Louis, once again, thank you for bringing this up because we do have faith. Okay. So proceed, Mr. Galaviz, okay?
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and item number 2D, discussion and possible direction of staffing in all matters regarding Avenue F expansion between Juan Sanchez Boulevard and County 23 and a half. Are we? Yeah. Okay. Councilmember Rosales, you mentioned that. Elogio. Director of Public Works. Proceed.
I just brought this up, Mayor, just so we could start having staff look into this section of the road, start working with the county. It is something that they will be needing with all the traffic, with all the growth over the east side. So just so I know they've padded in their list, but this way they can start working with the county as well, or find out who owns it.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. So we did a little bit of research after we saw the item on the work session agenda, and so it is county island, but at the same time it is state land right away. We weren't able to really track down whether we have all the right of way, but I know we do have some of it. So we'll continue to do the research on the right of way, and it is definitely something that the city needs to look at and try to put it as a priority for future years to come to develop the full width. Although the traffic through that intersection with the growth that's happening, we might be able to actually bring some of that traffic down just because we're working on that connection to Avenue E as well for people who are going to the east into Yuma. But yeah, I agree. Right? This is something definitely that we want to start working on right away, and hopefully getting the design in early, and eventually make it into the budget.
My concern on that intersection is that you see a lot of people pulling over in the dirt area to drop off people, then other people pick up people, or people walking from the homes to Juan Sanchez to get picked up, and there's no sidewalks or anything out there. So it's a bad mixture of things for something to happen, and that's what I want to make sure we avoid. So even if we don't need to expand, but if maybe we could add the sidewalks or something, work on a phase plan to get this done, like you said, in the next couple of years. Because it is needed now. 2-3 years from now, it's going to be worse, even with the connections, because people are always going to go closest to the west because they want to get closer to town for their pickups.
Wow. I agree. I think it's important for the cities to stay ahead of the need. So I agree. So we'll work on this.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just thinking. So we'll get moving with this right away research and trying to eventually come up with a conceptual layout. And I think for the immediate future, some of the things that we've talked internally is maybe adding some street lighting onto the existing poles. We can do significant savings there just using the existing poles. And I think for the issue with the people pulling over, I think I'll look, see if it's counties, we'll try to get some permission to do some grading and stabilization there for people to more easily pull off the road and onto the road as well.
Okay, very good. No, thank you, Elogio, and thank you, Councilmember Matias, because this is very important. We have to always be proactive, and this is one of them. This is the fastest growing part of the city, and we have to be thinking smart, and we have to properly plan for the future, and the expansion is growing. And so, Matias, thank you for bringing this topic up, and that needed to be up, and thank you, Mr. Rivera. And definitely we should start looking at it as soon as possible if we can, to make sure that that part of our city is well taken care of, and those benefits are provided, and those services are provided to that part of our community. I will now open the floor to any council member with comments or concerns. Councilmember Jose Ponce, any comments or concerns?
No, sir.
Thank you, Councilor Ponce. Councilor Torres, any comments or concerns?
No comment, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Africa Carrasco, any comments or concerns?
No, just to mention that this is a very good item. I'm glad it was brought up by Councilmember Rosales.
Thank you so much. Councilor Buchanan, any comments or concerns?
No, Mayor, no comment.
Matias, well, we heard from you, and thank you for bringing this topic up. Vice Mayor, any comments or concerns?
I just want to agree with you guys that this is very important for us to continue planning for the future and the growth of San Luis. So kudos, Matias.
Good job, Matias. No, thank you, council members. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go item number 2E, discussing the possible direction of staff and all matters regarding business access on Archibald Street in San Luis, Arizona. Councilman Rosales, Matias Rosales, and Eulogio Vera, thank you for bringing the comment, the subject to matter to hand. Okay, Mr. Matias, want to open it up?
I'll let you flip it over to see what he has. He's the one that was working on this already.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, yeah. So on this one, we have been internally looking at this item for some time now. I think it's over a year, and I think even when the downtown was initially open to traffic after the redevelopment, we actually looked at this option of trying to isolate, or more than anything, channelize that third lane southbound on Archibald. So we recently started working on it again, looking at conceptual layouts of what channelization we could do for that third lane and looking at some costs. We're getting closer to the time where I think we can implement the change, just because of the traffic, it's not as bad, and that way it can transition into the peak season. So we don't have anything formalized as far as the design, but we do have a concept, and really the concept is either using so the flex sticks or the water-filled barriers along between the third and second lane southbound, all the way from U Street all the way to Avenue D, and leaving the intersections open for better access for safety, public safety vehicles. And hopefully we can get moving, and if budget permits, try to purchase some of this channelization equipment and install it. I mean, the cost, we don't have because we don't have the final design. We have conceptual costs, but it can range from roughly $20,000 all the way to $80,000, depending on what channelization equipment we use. If it's just the flex sticks, it's a lot more economical, while on the long run becomes more expensive just because of maintenance. People are going to be running over those a lot easier, and we have to be replacing them more often. If we do the plastic barriers, it's more of a permanent solution. They don't get moved as easy, but then they can also be removed anytime. So I think it's a good thing to go with that route versus something more permanent like a curb or fencing. But that's a little more expensive option. And the one thing that we can do, we can always try 1 or 2 streets or 2 blocks and then move over until we get it all the way to D. But that's something that we have to definitely define here in the next, it could be done in the next few weeks or months, depending how fast we want to move with it. I'm not sure if there's any questions.
Well, I'm just thinking over it, and I just want to say that if we can do anything to access, to facilitate the access to businesses on Archibald Street, it would be beneficial to everyone, especially during this time. I think if we can try to minimize any possible restrictions or avoid any negative impact on our business at this point in time, and facilitate business, to promote business, I think it's always a good thing for the city, and especially right now. So excellent topic, Councilmember Matias Rosales. Thank you for bringing that up, and thank you, Mr. Vera, for pointing that out, because we really need to work with our businesses, especially on Archibald and basically all through our Main Street also. So no, thank you. Thank you for bringing this topic up. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to each individual council member, and I'm going to be asking what are your thoughts, questions, or concerns. Mr. Jose Ponce, comments or concerns?
No, sir. Thank you, Mr. Vera.
Thank you. Councilmember Torres, any comments, questions, or concerns?
No comment, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Nafi Carrasco, any questions or concerns or questions?
No, Mayor, not at this time.
Thank you. Councilmember Buchanan, any questions, comments, or concerns?
No, Mayor, no questions.
Councilor Matias, thank you. And thanks again. Two great topics. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
No, thank you, Mayor. I'm glad staff has been working on this and look forward to see what's going on because a lot of the businesses, like you said, have been asking it, car dealers and little stores. Thank you.
I know we're gonna have to make this work. I think the city needs to up their game, and actually we really need to promote and make sure we retain the businesses that we have. And for those who we have those businesses, we need to do everything in our power to retain them and make sure make sure they survive, especially the crisis where we're in right now. Thank you. Council Member, Vice Mayor, comments or concerns?
None at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that were basically our items. I'm going to go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Vera. Thank you, staff, for coming and being again at this work session. And I really thank our residents for being so supportive and working together. We're actually making a difference. So thank you, buenas noches, and have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Be safe.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Buenas noches. Good night.